Today, I'm going to tell you about the trend of true freshmen starting at quarterback and what this means for perhaps Spencer Rattler going forward, and some Know Your Phone notes about UCLA and all that's coming up after the bumper.
What do you mean you don't subscribe to my son's YouTube channel?
Mama, no!
Just snap the damn ball, RJ.
What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always OU related, college football related, sports related. We have a good time. So first, let's start with some notes that you need to know about UCLA. The first one is the defense runs something similar to what Mike Stoops likes to run. It's the 3-4 defense. It's the 3-4 base. You heard earlier in the week how Lincoln Riley is kind of scared of those outside linebackers who are as good as you can be playing that position in a true 50 front. Chris Barnes returns. He's pretty good. I like Jalen Phillips. He had 9 tackles against Cincinnati, including 1 for loss. But the guy that I think most people need to be concerned about is Adarius Pickett. Adarius Pickett is their top returning leading tackler. Had 85 tackles last season and 15 against Cincinnati. Him back there with Quentin Lake make for a formidable duo of defensive backs. And yes, Paul Rhodes coaches the secondary, the same Paul Rhodes who coached at Iowa State and is familiar with not only the Big 12, but Oklahoma. And I'm sure that he's going to have a lot to say to defensive coordinator Jerry Azzanaro about what to expect. On the offensive side of the ball, the two guys that I think that you should keep your eye on is Dorian Thompson-Robinson, quarterback, and Caleb Wilson, tight end. Caleb Wilson has OU ties, but more than that, he is their best receiver. He's a big body playing tight end. I think he's an early favorite to win the Mackey Award if he has the kind of season that we think he can have. Through 5 games last year, he was superlative, including one against Texas A&M where he had 15 catches for 208 yards. Outside of him, Casimir Allen, running back, 100-meter state champ out of California. He's a speedster. If he gets in front of you, you will not catch him. Although, that's a challenge issued to Trey Brown should he get the opportunity to run this guy down. And last, of course, is the quarterback, Dorian Thompson-Robinson. He is a true freshman out of Bishop Gorman, where all he did was win a national title last year. Now, yes, he didn't look good against Cincinnati, 15 of 25 for 117 yards. But if these two can create a chemistry, they're going to be a load for whoever's playing outside linebacker, whether it be Mark Jackson or Ryan Jones. They are going to make you tackle in the open field. And if Chip Kelly can gin up some magic for this offense that'll be really good next year, they could be in a position to shock some people this year. But the line from Vegas is 30.5 points. And while I can see them covering the spread, they're not going to win this football game. Now, I want to get into this youth movement at quarterback in college football. For those of you who just kind of didn't catch this, 4 major programs started true freshmen at quarterback. Started them. That was the guy from jump. One of them, JT Daniels at USC. Another is Adrian Martinez from Nebraska, Minnesota's Zach Anixtad, and Rutgers' Artur Sitkowski were all named starters for their respective programs heading into the 2018 season. But we also saw Trevor Lawrence get significant snaps at Clemson. We already know that Kirby Smart said Justin Fields at Georgia will not redshirt, which means Jake Fromm better watch his back. And we know what kind of a offensive mind and coach Scott Frost is. So for him to tab a guy like Adrian Martinez speaks volumes about what Martinez can do. And all he did was average 8 yards per carry in high school. And in naming Martinez the guy, Scott Frost named a true freshman starting quarterback for the season opener for the first time in Nebraska's history. And we all know how great Nebraska is at playing the game of football. Game of the century, anybody? The 90s, anybody? Now that said, it's never a good thing if you're starting a true freshman at quarterback, and I'll tell you why. Since 2008, 7 of the 15 power conference schools who have started a true freshman at quarterback in season openers have finished the season with a losing record. And you can basically throw UCLA in here because, well, Wilton Speight played all the 10 minutes before Dorian Thompson-Robinson came in for UCLA, which basically underscores my point that UCLA is not going to be a good football team this season. But also add further to this, how many of these guys are transferring away from the programs where they started. A 2016 study performed by the Tuscaloosa News found that only 37.2% of quarterbacks in the Southeastern Conference ended their careers at the school where they started them. Now, there's reason as to why you're seeing players, not just at quarterback, but across college football at every position, get the start as true freshmen. And one of the major reasons is they're just ready. Some of these kids have been getting ready to play college football and play quarterback at the highest level since they were children. And I mean 8, 9, 10 years old. They have had quarterbacks coaches, position coaches, gurus who groomed them to play one position and one position only. And if you've been playing quarterback at the level that, say, Spencer Rattler has been playing quarterback for half your life, yeah, you're going to be ready to play as a teenager when you get to Oklahoma, Clemson, USC, Nebraska, Georgia. We can go on. The offenses have also changed, and Lane Kiffin actually pointed to this. The offenses are less complicated than they have been in the past, where it's much more of a numbers game. You run fewer plays out of more sets. You have an opportunity to gear your system to the quarterback, which is why a guy like Kyler Murray cannot play major college football for 3 years, show up and complete 9 of 11 passes for 209 yards with 2 TDs. And you can also take advantage of his ability to run the zone read while getting to watch him do his Houdini act when the play breaks down and he goes and gets a first down. I think you're seeing that across college football because thanks to guys like Mike Leach and Rich Rodriguez, you are seeing these offenses that spread out and do many different things, allow for players to get the ball out to playmakers much easier. You're not dependent on one guy to do the bulk of the work like you would in, say, the early 2000s Big 12, where you would see a lot of I formation, and if you didn't have a good tailback, you weren't really going to be that good. So what does this mean for Spencer Rattler and Tanner Mordecai and Austin Kendall going forward? Kyler Murray is not going to be back here in 2019. That man is going to play baseball. So you're basically down to a 3 quarterback race. I think this is Austin Kendall's job to lose at this point if he decides to stick around, and we won't know for sure until we see him suit up in September 2019. However, if you don't know that Austin Kendall can do the job, and you think that Spencer Rattler is a better quarterback from an athletic standpoint than, say, Tanner Mordecai, there is precedent for making Spencer Rattler the guy. Now, Lincoln Riley isn't going to make that decision, or at least I don't think so, because in the past, we know that Lincoln Riley has a way he wants to go about grooming his quarterbacks. We know that he wants to take his time. We know that he wants to pick a guy and stick with that guy. We also know that because he is such an offensive-minded head coach, he still calls the plays. He still has more or less a symbiotic relationship with his quarterback. He's not going to want to rush that process, and he's going to want the guy to have every opportunity to fail in practice, to learn what it means to be an OU quarterback, an OU football player, a scholarship athlete at this level before you throw him to the wolves. There are just not going to be that many true freshman quarterbacks who are ready to play right away at this level and win 10 games. And to highlight the point, the only true freshman quarterback to win a national championship is Jamel Holloway, who, by the way, beat out Troy Aikman, who was the worst quarterback. Yeah, I said it.
Fight me.
But maybe that's the key. Maybe you have to be a true freshman quarterback at Oklahoma to win a national title, and maybe that guy's Spencer. I just don't think that Lincoln Riley is going to put Spencer Rattler in that position because I wouldn't do it, and I love Spencer. But it will be interesting to see how this shakes out come fall 2019. All right, that's it for me. Deuces.